Hey, y'all, welcome back to In the Blind Podcast. I'm Eric Gunderson. This is my co-host, Mr. Stephen Barker-Lyles.
Hey, everyone, I'm back.
We are Love and Theft, a country duo, and today we're joined by a good friend and a legend, really. It's a guy that we've been watching for a long time. He's an amazing actor, amazing artist, Mr. Grayson Russell.
Boys, thank y'all for having me. I really appreciate it. Thank y'all.
Thank you for being here, man.
No sweat. No sweat. I remember whenever y'all came out, specifically my mom going, Love and Theft. That's the best band name I've ever heard. And I would have
that's
been
awesome.
6th, 7th grade maybe. I can't remember where we were. I remember her saying it. I just can't remember where we normally I can remember where we're at when something like that happens, but I couldn't remember that one. I was like, yeah, Love and Theft.
That's cool.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, man. I remember, actually, about, I think it was earlier this summer, you were shooting and podcasting in here with Justin Danger Nunley and our buddy Matt Lyda, the White Trash with Money podcast.
Yes, sir.
And
yeah.
Remember, you walked through the door, and I'd seen your social media and stuff, and I was starstruck for the first time in a long time. Like, we see all kinds of, Riley Greens in here all the time, hanging out, people that are on top of the world in the music business, and like, I don't even blink an eye at those guys, and then you come strolling in, I'm like, this is so cool. I watched him in all kinds of movies.
Well,
like,
thank you.
So
I appreciate it.
To sit down and talk with you is an honor, and we're excited. And
Absolutely.
played our Cold Beer Country Showcase out here.
Yeah.
Thanks
last
again
week,
for
so
that.
we
That was
really
fun, huh?
appreciate
Thank y'all.
that.
I got open for Love and Theft. If they're on thing, I'll take it. That goes on the.
Yeah, it was a
goes
cool
on the
story. We
list.
had Rhett Walker set up to kind of close out the night, and then last minute he got sick, and we were like, all right, well, this is a bill with a bunch of our friends. Let's jump on it ourselves.
Yeah.
So it was a cool kind of, even full circle for us to,
Yes, sir.
to get to do that and get up there. So we really appreciate you playing for us and
Absolutely.
showing everybody what you do.
With a little skinny.
Yeah. Dude, that guy is my best friend. He's
Oh, really?
he's one of the
That's
first
cool.
people I met whenever I moved to town.
Oh, really?
And it was a good one to know. I
Yeah.
figured that out for her. I was like,
Yeah,
okay,
he
Skinny
is.
knows literally everybody. I was like, all right.
He
And
does.
so, I mean, a lot of the dear friends I have now, I owe to Skinny. Skinny's the one that introduced me to him.
That's cool.
Yeah, he's one of the best networkers I think that I've ever
Yeah.
met.
Oh, 100%.
Because I remember, like,
100%.
I was playing a bunch of golf at the time, wasn't really coming down to this part of town much, and like I saw him out at the golf course a lot with random people.
Yeah.
Saw him at Old Hickory one day with John Daly. I was like,
Yeah.
man, how's this kid getting in all these places
Yeah.
like this? And like, started going to some writers' nights and stuff when we were going to start the podcast and stuff back earlier this year to, try to find some guests and whatnot. And he was just everywhere. And then I started seeing you with him all the time, everywhere too.
It was weird how it happened. So I was engaged for a while, and so I was getting ready to get married. Got the spot I'm in now. My fiance moved into town, and then we split, and it was like, all right, well, I'm here by myself now.
Right.
And so I started the first night I went out. Tyler Reese Tritt was playing a show over at Tin Roof, and we had followed each other for a while. And Skinny was there because he had known them, and so that's where I met Skinny. And then CMA Fest of 2023, he was playing somewhere, and I went and saw him, and then it was like, yeah, we're out all the time now.
Yeah.
So he took me on a deer hunt.
I love those
up in
deer
South
hunts.
Spud. Good old deer hunt on a crossbow hunt up in Illinois. So we got back in from that a week or so ago. It was a good time.
That's
but
awesome.
he's a man.
How long have you lived here?
Officially only a year and a half.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but I started playing utility for a guy named Guy Penrod, who won a couple Grammys back in the day. He did all the stuff like the Gaithers, big tall guy.
Oh, yeah. I know exactly who it was. My
yeah.
dad and grandparents, sorry to interject, but like my grandparents were the biggest Gaither vocal band fans ever. Like they would do their, I don't know if you'd ever seen it. It was,
like the Gaither Homecoming.
Yes,
like
Homecoming.
The VHS
That's what I'm
tapes.
trying to think of.
Yeah,
and they would pay tons of money to go to that. When
they went to them.
Oh yeah.
So, I was the youngest. I'm the only child. My granddad was the youngest of 6, and so I spent a lot of time with his older sisters growing up. And one of them that kept me whenever they'd get tired of me watching Lord of the Rings, which is my favorite thing when I was 4. They'd slide in the Gaither vocal band VHS tapes. So fast forward, 20 years, I started playing utility for him and singing background vocals. So I did banjo, mandolin, and acoustic.
That's cool.
And I was coming over here for 3-4 years, twice a month to hop on the bus from Chattanooga because I did my undergrad at Lee.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
That's a good school.
So yeah, I love Lee.
Lee Christian University.
Mhm.
Yeah. So
Yeah, and
That's
then
where I learned to play ultimate frisbee.
Yeah.
For the first time.
That's the place to do it. I went there, my undergrad's in film, and then my master's is from the seminary right back behind the soccer field over there that's in clinical mental health counseling. So total, left turn. Anyhow, so I'd been coming over.
That's a pretty key thing
Yeah,
to have
it's
the career path you chose to have a little bit of that.
Well, I had done so much work with actors so I'm an actor. That's one of the things I do, by the way, for
we're going to get there at some point, I promise.
Because, when you're doing a film for 2 or 3 months, wherever it is, in my experience, it was places I'd never been stuck before. Huh. So, like when we did Wimpy Kid, we were in Vancouver for 2.5 months for 3 years.
I heard Vancouver's really nice.
Vancouver's awesome. I hadn't been in 15 years, but it was beautiful when we were there.
That's all I've heard.
But you're stuck somewhere with a small group of people working 16 hours a day, and somebody's life's falling apart at any given time, and they just kept talking to me about it ever since I was a kid. So I was like, okay, well, if I wanted to, if the good Lord's going to keep putting me in these situations, I want to know what I'm doing, and if for nothing else, to know what to avoid or who to avoid. And I was leading worship. So I started in the 7th, like more or less on staff in the 7th grade, and then did that straight up through my undergrad at Lee. And I was just old enough in my undergrad. I was just older than the kids in high school that, like, when their lives were falling apart, I had similar experiences and was just old enough to be just past it.
Right.
We were like, okay, all this stuff's fresh. Here's what sounds like a good idea. It didn't. But if you got to learn it that way, then so be it. And we'll, hold your hand through it. I did that enough to where it also kind of confirmed the counseling side. And I was like, okay, maybe I just need to pull the trigger on it. And it ended up coming back in a really crazy way. I started working with creative vets, which you know those guys over there.
Yeah, we work with them a lot.
Working with vets, songwriting with vets, and it was awesome because, like, I don't co-write a ton solely because when I'm writing for me, since I started touring when I was 5, so I've done music my whole life, but I know Tim McGraw as a storyteller. So when he sings Red Ragtop, I don't expect him to have lived through Red Ragtop, but I believe that he believes it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And so him being on 1883 is him telling another story. Like, that's not off-putting to me. But if I want to go see Kevin Costner's band, I want to see Kevin Costner. Mm-hmm. If he's telling somebody else's story, I want to see him. I'll go watch Dances with Wolves.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So for me, when I'm writing for myself, it's a different process because it's usually stuff that I've expressly walked through, at least for the first couple records, and then we'll chalk it up from there.
Right.
Not that I have to do that entirely by myself, but I usually choose to. But with creative vets is really how I will learn how I like to co-write. Because if you'll sit there and just let it rip on whatever's bothering you, to me it's like me doing a clinical session for my masters.
Yeah.
Because if that's what's on your heart, if you'll give me an hour, I'll have you down to the bridge by the time you're done, just sobbing.
Right.
And then we'll figure out where it goes. So it's been been an interesting development in the counseling side of things since I got to Nashville.
And it's funny they say that about creative vets, because I would say for us, that's one of the more unique co-writing sessions that we get into, because you're not really interjecting your story.
No.
He's not interjecting his story.
You're not trying to write something for the radio.
Correct.
It's a therapy session.
Correct.
But some of the coolest songs I've
ever written have come out, and no two of them are the same.
Yeah.
Like we just wrote one with a vet that came over in a pickup truck from Mexico when he was 6, and was did all like the migrant work, and like they'd go pick stuff in California in the summertime, and was like, I don't want to do this no more, and joined the military at like 17, and his daddy didn't want him to until he started sending the money back. And he's like, oh, fine, and then sent the whole family through the military, and now he's got like 3 houses and 5 grandkids. Wow. And it's just cool. The total American dream. And so getting to write something like that I would never touch, but because I don't have that life experience. But to sit there and just have him, and then have him sing on it.
Yeah.
It's like, because I can't, because he wanted me to sing it, and I'm like, we need a Hispanic guy to sing this, dude. Like, this is not. He was like, no, I want to sing it. It's like, okay, but you got to do something on it, and he did, and it was really precious. But to get to have those moments, and then to get to turn around, we're doing a thing this week with Vince Gill and Charles Eston and Jada Marcus and Callie. I can't pronounce her last name. It's 2 Ks. With Scars and Scripts, which is another thing Creative Vets does. Yep. So the vets that want to do like a film program thing, they'll do screenplays, and then we'll bring in actors to do it. So I'm getting directed by D.B. Sweeney, freaking Dish from Lonesome Dove, which is one of my heroes.
That's
so
cool.
I'll do the acting side of them for that.
That's
and then
incredible.
Vince and all of them will come in and sing and do stuff in there too.
I don't think I knew they were doing that now.
Yeah. I've been seeing it more recently.
It's called what?
It's called Scars to Scripts. They've only done 2.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm not like totally behind.
Yeah, they did one. No, they had their first one last year, right after.
So what are you doing? Are you
I'm
helping write it?
I'm acting in it.
Oh, you're acting. Who's writing it?
The vets write them.
They'll
have a coach. Yeah, they'll have a screenwriting coach usually. So sometimes there'll be another actor, and it kind of depends.
That's so fun.
Yeah. So and I've never done theater. You know, like I did church plays.
Right.
But film,
fun.
so and it's a totally different animal. Now, there's a lot of people that I work with on the film side that come from theater, and it's something that I have a big respect for. But practically for me, I've never had, like 12 weeks that I could just rehearse, on a,
Now, is this like a monologue type thing, or are there other actors?
Yeah,
No. There'll be a couple other. It's a black box setup we're doing over. It's at the Tennessee Performing Arts. It's at TPAC, which is cool.
That's cool.
But the black box ones are pretty, intimate because it's almost like you're in like kind of an octagon kind of thing. And everybody's around you. The pressure is the fact that you might be doing it about somebody that was killed in combat or whatever, and the person who wrote it, who was standing next to the guy when he got killed, is
right there.
is on the second row with his wife, and so it's different. Yeah, it's just different.
But talk about a cool thing for you to do to be able to give back.
Absolutely.
On the writing side.
Yeah.
And songwriting, and then to do this, which, I mean, you're an amazing actor. So, I mean, it seems like the cool natural progression. But, to be able to be as involved as you are on the songwriting side of it and then be able to do this, too, is really a cool.
It's cool. And that's the thing. Like I said, I've never really done theater before. So, this will be my 3rd time doing it with them. And it's the only time
you've already
outside
done
of a church
some of these episodes?
Well, it's just the live thing that they do. That it's like a gala. Kind of, it's in like not a gala. Gala is the right word. It's like an event that they.
Okay,
gotcha. So you've rehearsed now for it for a few times and then run through it, and then
we'll have dress
the first
tomorrow.
live one will actually be that night.
Yeah, and so
I was thinking they were filming this, and like we record the songs wherever them. I was thinking they're filming this.
But that makes sense, and I think they've thought about at some point fleshing that out and doing it. But the way we did it the last time is we'll do a play, and then somebody will come on and do a song, and we'll play in a song.
I want to go.
So,
that's really cool.
It's Wednesday.
Oh.
Wednesday night.
We'll be here.
Yeah, Wednesday night at some point.
So how'd you get your start acting? Because for those that don't know, I mean, you've been in some pretty prolific films and made a serious name for yourself. So it's cool for me to know all of that about you and now see the waves you're making in the music industry and how you've kind of parlayed that into this, but now you still maintain that side of your career also.
I didn't mean to be an actor. When I was 2, I wanted to ride bulls and be George Strait. That was those were my aspirations as a child. My first memory was at the Opry, getting made fun of by Old Crow Medicine Show for dancing.
Really?
They were playing The Door, playing Wagon Wheel. Funny enough, my dad's got it on a camcorder.
Really?
Like 4 years before they recorded it. That's a total other rabbit trail. But I had done commercials for the local car dealership because the owner went to school with Mama. But like they'd use the cheer squad. Clanton, Alabama's got 9 stoplights in it, I think, less than fingers and toes. I had done that for a year. I was in the 1st grade. I liked it because they checked me out of school early, and I could get a Game Boy game when we got done. One of them little Game Boy SPs.
What were you doing in the commercials? It's like being a kid?
Just being a kid. They dressed me up like Johnny Cash or William Wallace or whatever. Like, I didn't care. I was a cowboy to start with for a long time. And
so you probably love that.
Oh yeah, it was great. I mean, I had the hat, I had my chaps, we were good to go. I was doing mutton busting at the time because like I wanted to be a bull rider, so you got to ride sheep first. That's the pipeline.
Mm-hmm.
And Talladega Nights was an open call in the newspaper, and the only reason we went to it was because Dad, I think, had a tournament to fish, and we were bored.
Really?
That was it. And
where was the call?
Clay Chalkville High School in Birmingham. In the auditorium. And it's funny, like, you remember weird stuff. You know, you don't remember the right details when you're little, just the stuff that gets your attention. And it was the longest line I guess I had ever seen. And Taylor Hicks had just won American Idol. And I remember telling Mama, this must be what a line to a Taylor Hicks concert's like. And I got to meet him for the first time over at when John Daly was doing his Boys and Girls Club thing earlier on in the year. And I was like, dude, this is because I'd seen him. I'd seen him in passing a couple times. Never got to talk. Never got to introduce himself. Did Talladega Nights. Got saved doing that movie.
How many kids you beat out for that spot? You think?
A couple thousand for sure.
Wow.
Because there was 2,000 at that singular audition. I don't know how many other ones they had.
And that was just for that one.
For the two kids.
For the two kids.
For the two kids. And
who was the other kid that did it with you?
Houston Tumlin. So he was from Pell City, Alabama.
Y'all still friends?
No. So Houston passed away.
Oh, I didn't know
in
this.
2021. His sister Hayden is head of all the Atmos mixes for quality control for all the Atmos mixes at UMG.
Oh, that's pretty.
That's
small
something.
world.
It's small world, and she's my age, so she's killing it. But Michael Clark Duncan, big black guy from the Green Mile, set me up with his manager at the premiere, and that's how I was able to stay in it.
Wow.
And so now I've done the the Wimpy Kid movies, which did really well. The last film I did got nominated for an Oscar. It's a movie.
What was that called?
It's called Greyhound. It's a World War II movie with Tom Hanks. So I have no hair in it at all. And then.
How long did it take you to grow your hair back out like that?
Yeah, this is the longest my hair's ever been.
Is it?
Because it was, I kind of wore it almost like a, not quite a fro, but it was big. Just it didn't hang down. And then they sawed it off, and then I just kind of let it grow back out. So it's been doing this since. Are
you a ginger or a day walker?
I'm a ginger.
Oh, okay.
I'm a ginger.
That means you have a soul, right?
Yeah, I do have it. I think. It's funny, my roots are black, which is weird. So
really?
It's like black and then turns to red. So whenever they cut it off for Greyhound, which is the first time I ever had short hair, it was like, oh, snap. It's like black to brown to red, which is kind of cool.
Wow, that's kind of cool.
That's cool.
I'm on a TV show right now called Blue Ridge. Blue Ridge is the series, and so we're on Amazon. And whenever I get a new, like an acting gig, I don't cut my hair because I'm assuming I don't want to cut it and then
they want long hair.
Need it to be long. So it would have been maybe back into 2022. I had kind of had biggish hair, and they're like, "Yeah, we want you. We're going to film in February or March or whatever of 23." And I thought I was playing a cop because of how the scene I auditioned for was in a prison. I was like, okay, I'm playing a prison guard. They're going to chop it all off anyway, but I'll just let it go just in case. Grew out this big, like, mountain man beard. Come to find out I'm playing the village idiot when I got there, and they're like, oh, that's perfect. And I'm like, oh, well,
awesome.
Crap, because I've got to spend the next 4 months of my life
looking like that.
Look, I can't, as long as, my hair had ever, I'm just shaggy. And when we went into season 2, I was like, okay, we're going to tighten this up just a little bit because I need to. I still had a pretty big beard. But
was that fun to film?
Loved it.
Yeah,
loved it. It's where, God's honest truth, is where I found my confidence as an actor, because the way, like with music, like I said, I started touring when I was 5. Like I've honed that and I've worked for it, and I'm confident on stage. Yeah. It's the most confident I'm about anything. With film, the way I got into it, and since it just landed in my lap so naturally, it's never been something that I felt like I've earned. Mm-hmm. It's always just been, I happen to be really good at it for whatever reason, and then kind of, we're just going to run with it as long as it goes. And
being on stage, though, doing music probably helped you a lot with that.
100%. In its own way. Like, I know, certainly with songwriting, I know from the things I've done on the film side, the stories I can tell well, and the ones that that I can't. With doing Blue Ridge, I was going back through I was cutting an Instagram reel on Talladega Nights, something I was doing, and it was the first time I watched it, and went, oh. I planted my feet the right way whenever I came in, and I was looking at it from the technical side of like, oh, I don't know if my timing would be that good now, as it was then. Because you look back at it, it's like game footage. It's like, if I had just turned a little bit more this way, then you would have caught what I was doing on this side of my face, which is a little more telling for what's going on later, whatever. All the technicalities of it. You critique the fire out of it. And that was the first time I'd watched pieces of it and went, oh, like I did really good here. And this is, and it was just different. It was like this whole kind of thing clicking for me.
That's cool.
And then with playing this character is Dwayne Dixon, like I said, who's the village idiot, which is just a culmination of people that I grew up with and ones that I met along the way. It got to a point where I was only supposed to be in 2 episodes. They've written me in as a series regular by the grace of God, so now I'm in every one of them.
That's cool.
And they'll just throw me in the back of the room, and now the sound department's like, we're putting a mic on him anyway. Come here, because you're going to say something, or they're going to get you to do whatever. And it's just like, we understand that you understand redneckery better than we do. And we have the confidence that you're going to make this make sense. Go do your thing. And we'll get out of your way. Awesome. And it's
what do you do before a shoot, like to get in that character? Do you do anything, or just like, all right, here we go?
I put my shoes on.
That's it.
It's funny, like different things about different facets of characters or the situations will kind of inform the character itself. And certainly, like, help you get back into them when you hadn't touched them in years, because it was a year between season 1 and 2, and it'll be another year between season 2 and 3. With Blue Ridge, the boots they gave me to wear were too big, and I flapped around in them, and I was mad about it for about a week until I realized that, like, oh, this is like naturally it gave my character. It gave me a gait that was. More natural to what I was doing. And so for me to get back into like how he thinks and the way he says stuff, I just got to put the boots on.
That's pretty
Put the boots
sweet.
on, take a lap, we're good. With Fregley from the Wimpy Kid movies, it was the glasses. The glass in the glasses were so thick it weighed down the front of my head.
So that's why
you'll see that I walk with a little bit of a hunch.
Wow.
It's not because I was planning to walk with a hunch that day. It's because the friggin' glass was so heavy. It weighed down the front of my, 10-year-old head.
That's wild.
So there's different things that'll, that
because that is a very signature thing about that character in particular. Is kind of the shoulders slump forward,
that he kind of does the thing,
forward.
And so I couldn't tell you beforehand what it's going to be, but there's usually something that gets you there. And for me, it's usually more external things like the boots, or it's not a particular mindset.
Is it different for every role?
Which is different for every role. And the thing is going to be different for every role. I did a space movie where I was playing a mechanic, so like I had my grease rag for everything. It was like that never left my pocket when we were filming. So
I think I remember. I don't know if it was Matt or Justin that asked you this question, but like I think you were talking about like a piece of memorabilia that you had like taken from each movie or a couple things.
Yeah,
like,
I've always been blessed to be able to get away with the props that really mattered a lot to me. Because most of the guys from Wimpy Kid didn't really get to take a bunch of stuff with them, and I'm just like got droves of crap.
Yeah.
I've got my glasses from Wimpy Kid. I've got my braces because I had retainers in for the second and third movie with the braces on.
Right.
I've got those. I've got Rebecca, which is this stuffed African rabbit that was a prop in my bedroom in the first movie that makes like a little cameo. I've got the puppet, the ventriloquist dummy from the second movie. Yeah. Stuff from the third too with Talladega Nights. I've got my flight suit, like I've got my kid size Wonder Bread flight suit.
That's cool.
Bits and pieces, different things. I one of the coolest things I've ever gotten though was when we were doing Greyhound. No different than like when you wrap up a tour and usually the headliner, if you're opening for them, will be like, hey, here's your, thank you for doing this tour with us. Here's you something. When you've spent 2 months with somebody you've never met, and then you become inseparable from them for 16-hour days of getting yelled at by naval officers and enlisted guys and directors and, NCOs and everything else, you get super tight. And, like, what do you give Tom Hanks? Yeah. Like, I've worked with Tom for 2 months. What do you give Tom Hanks? And he's a huge history buff. He's got a book that he wrote on typewriters. He wrote the script on a typewriter. Like, she just history buff to the nth degree. And I've got a pretty good vinyl record collection. It's probably as good as anybody. and I had been given 4 or 5 boxes of Dick Clark National Music Survey disc jockey radio station vinyls.
Wow.
So when you looked at them, they were dated, and you open it up, and it's got the program on it that tells you, it's got the time code on it. So we've got a Digel commercial, and then Hamburger Helper, and then we're doing Ebony and Ivory, and then we've got an interview with Stevie Wonder and Paul McCartney, and and you put it on, and it's coming at you from I think the one I kept was it's New Year's 1983, coming at you with the top 40 from 1982. Here's Joan Jett, I Love Rock and Roll, Dick Clark National Music Survey.
That's incredible.
And because it's this timestamp.
I've never seen those.
I'd never seen them before either, and I didn't know I had them for a long time because the top disc was just a random vinyl somebody had thrown in there, and that's what I thought the rest of it was. And so I gave that to him. And so I'm waiting for the day that like I'm going to cut on a Hanks movie and there's going to be Dick Clark. But he wrote me a letter, typed me up a letter
On a typewriter?
on a typewriter.
That's fun.
Like a month later after we got home, and it was like, thank you. I'm listening through right now those Dick Clark National Music Survey.
Wow, I just got chills.
You know, thanks, Tom Hanks. You know, and that's
that's awesome.
That was somebody that I never even dreamed of. Like, I never dreamed about catching a touchdown for the, whoever, for the Falcons at the Super Bowl. Like, that's never a thought that crossed my mind. I never thought about working with Hanks. You know, I mean, as an actor, there's people that you want to work with.
Mm-hmm.
I'd always want to work with Robert Duvall.
Mm-hmm.
Or like Viggo Mortensen, because I grew up watching Lord of the Rings.
Mm-hmm.
But that was not anything I ever thought would happen.
Yeah.
No different than like I saw y'all at Oak Mountain Amphitheater in the 8th grade, opening for Lady Annabelle and Tim McGraw. Never would have dreamed I'd be sitting here talking to y'all, much less like, oh yeah, hey, will y'all come play the thing?
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, well, I mean, to put that in perspective, like, Talladega Nights, I swear, has been on my TV every single night, like, since, like, I met you earlier this year. And, like, every time it comes on, like, I sit and watch it, and I'm like, Camden Hayes, wait. Okay, see that little kid? That's him now. Yeah. And I'm friends with him. And, like, they think that's the coolest thing in the world.
It's a blessing because, I mean, my first band was a Bee Gees cover band when I was 7 years old.
Wow. That
Will and Adam and all of them on set would make me sing Bee Gees songs. So this is all I've ever wanted to do. Yeah. The film has, and I'm very passionate about film. I don't want that to be misconstrued, but it's opened so many doors on the music side because when you look at just objectively, and now I get like the whole self-awareness thing from the counseling, part that has now been activated. When you look at just like the all-knowing power of the good Lord, and you say, okay, I know he wants to do this whole music thing. Introduce himself as George Strait as a 2-year-old. In 25 years, he's going to need a leg up if that's really what he wants to do, because there's going to be numbers he's going to have to hit on social media. So how about we put him in a film at a time period when all they're going to do is sit around and quote Anchorman anyway, in a genre that's going to be a piece of redneck culture for the next 30 years. So that he will have a leg up on those numbers, and that doors will be open solely because of this thing. 25 years. I'm not saying that is the core piece of it, but that's certainly been a part of it.
Yeah.
I mean, John Daly calls me Baby Jesus. Yeah. He's like my uncle.
Yeah.
Kid Rock calls me Anarchy. It's Uncle Bob now. I mean, people that I've grown up watching. It's getting to the point now. It's funny where I'm getting to be. There are people in my life now that are my dear friends that are the first time I'm hanging out with people that are cool to the people I grew up with.
Right.
Because like they never cared about actors or that stuff, which is fine. I don't blame them. I wouldn't have either. But cool. I met Riley Green a couple of times. He's from Slap Out, which isn't far from where I grew up. And the first couple of times I met him, I don't think I've ever told this story on a podcast before. The first couple of times I met him, I didn't know if like I'd keep seeing him because it's just Midtown. I didn't know if he knew who I was or remember me or whatever, until one night I was on the back porch here with Uncle Bob, Kid Rock, and my mom and my dad. I'd never introduced them before, so I'm introducing them. And Riley come up to me. He said, "Hey, man, my sister is the biggest Talladega Nights fan in the world. Would you mind sitting here and talking to her for a minute? And that was just one of the cool, because he didn't have to do that, and I didn't even know he knew who it was. I'd met him a couple times. Cool. We had some short, conversations, but he knew the the music side of my life too. That whole thing. Right. And then they just all sat and talked to mom and dad for a while, and I was back over there with Bob. So it's just it's funny how those experiences have just come back around. Yeah. Like I said, I had the Bee Gees band when I was 7, solely Bee Gees music, and Have a Nice Day by Bon Jovi. I'm sitting here in Losers one night, and this curly-headed old guy comes in. I'm like, that looks a lot like the keys player from Bon Jovi, because that was the only kinky, curly-headed rock star that I knew, because I grew up with a whole bunch of curly hair, and it's like I looked at them, and they were all like big hair, but never like curly hair. It's like, there's no way. And so I just didn't say anything anytime I'd seen him for like 2 months, until finally Bob introduced me. That's one of my dear friends now. Yeah. So it's...
Yeah, he got up and played the night we played with Riley out there. He came on as one of the special guests that he brought up. And...
I got to sing "You Give Love a Bad Name" with him for his birthday at Bon Jovi's.
That's crazy.
So it's been. I mean, it's not about like the prestige that they bring. That has nothing to do with it. They're really good people. Yeah. Y'all are really good people, and it's all been opened from something I did when I was 7 years old that I had no idea that what I was doing with.
Yeah.
The interesting part about it though, that took me a while to like, even though I've done film my whole life, is when the people that I've looked up to on the music side of the world started looking at me as a peer for what I did on the film side of the world.
Right.
Because I was looking at it as apples and oranges, and they're looking at it as apples from an entertainment side. We're like sitting with Travis Tritt and just talking, and he's asking me film stuff, and we're back and forth. And it's like, okay, hold on, this is wild. Wild. It took me a while to understand that. Yeah. It's like, okay.
But it's a really cool thing, because it almost, when you come into those situations, it's like there's an even playing field, which I would say I'm jealous of that, like as an artist, because as an artist, let's say I just moved to town, like this guy that played that show with us that night, Miles Morgan, I think is his name. Yeah. Like he got up there, he's not an actor, he's nothing else. He wants to be Riley. He wants to get to the place that these people are. And when you can come in a situation like that and kind of already have some clout as an entertainer, it kind of evens the playing field across the board. There's no pretense. It kind of takes all the preconceived notions, they go out the window. All that the and now it's
side
just
of the world is.
Now you're just people.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what I wasn't expecting, because on the film side of things, like here, there's very little gatekeeping as far as who you know and how you know them. And I just chalked it up to nobody expects to make it, so we all might as well have the same shot at it.
Yeah.
But on the film side, I'll be up against the top 10, 15, 20 sub 6 foot redheads for that one part.
Yeah.
And if you got a wife and 2 kids and your health insurance relies on you getting that part, it is you or me. And I'm going to do everything I can to get that. Yeah. And so I was, I think, expecting that on this end of the world.
Yeah.
Where it is very much preconceived notions and is incredibly pretentious and is a piss and match all day long.
Yeah. And I mean, I'm sure your ego has to have a place in that type of thing.
Yeah.
For confidence and other things.
To some extent. But again, I was never confident as an actor, so it just didn't make a big difference. So that was the part that kind of took me a while to get a grasp on. Here it was like, oh, they're just looking at me like a entertainer, just up here, just from a different.
Yeah, but even Riley, industry. Like in your situation, like my guess is he's looking at you as an equal. Whereas if he's looking at another, because of your success that you've had on the acting side, like, whereas I would say, let's say Miles or any other young aspiring artist, like there's a little bit of, with Riley standing there, or Chase Rice or Tyler Hubbard or Luke Combs, there's probably a little bit of, oh, they maybe you could potentially want to use me in some way to get to the next rung on the ladder. Whereas he probably doesn't look at you that way because you've established yourself as this entertainer that has had success, and you're a household name in many households. You know what I mean? And that's a cool place to be. It doesn't take away from anything else you're doing, but almost, I wouldn't even say it gives you a leg up. It's just, it takes that weirdness out of the room.
Yeah.
And
that's the thing.
I think
I can't
not off-putting for him. It's almost welcoming for someone like that to like let his guard down and be like, no, he gets it. He gets where I'm at because he's a superstar on that side of this whole entertainment business. At least from my perspective. I could be completely wrong.
And that's the thing. I mean, I can't speak for Riley, but he's always been incredibly kind to me.
Yeah.
And that was just such an off the wall experience for me because I didn't know who it was. And then like, hey, this is my sister. She's a big Talladega. I was like, oh, that's really cool. Yeah. On the the other side, just solely with Talladega Nights, I have people come up to me again 20 years later. That'll be man, the only reason I have the relationship with my dad is because of Talladega Nights, because it was the only movie that could be on where we could tolerate being in the same room with each other.
Wow.
And that's we built off of that. Or I had a guy come up to me that was he just gotten out of the military, just retired, and he said, man, whenever I shipped out to Iraq, I was having a full-on come apart, like, oh my God, what have I done?
Yeah.
And he said, I looked up in the corner and Talladega Nights was on the TV, and that was my family's favorite movie, and that was the little point of peace that I needed. Brought me down off the kind of deal here, it's going to be all right, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. So you have those moments, or now I remember being in the theaters watching Narnia or watching, I think, Monsters, Inc., or it's either Monsters, Inc. or Ice Age was the first thing I ever saw in theaters. But I remember, everybody kind of has those moments with certain things, or, man, this was the first PG-13 movie my daddy let me see, when I was like 11 and it was edgy and, whatever. But
I think mine was Armageddon.
Yeah. That'll do it to you. That'll do it. That's an existential crisis for
I was like,
I don't think I remember the first movie.
And I remember my dad being like, well, you need to close your eyes for this, like a stripper scene or something.
You're like,
he's like, you need to close your eyes.
What are those?
Yeah.
I shouldn't be watching this, Dad.
It's wild how film has opened doors in this world that I wouldn't have expected.
Yeah.
And I'm very thankful for that. I try to be very cautious of that too. Because I'm thankful for the doors that get open, but I gotta keep them there, because it's no different than somebody that hits it on a social media platform. Like, you gotta keep it up.
Yeah.
Like, so what happens when we put you on, doing 150 dates a year?
Yeah.
And like, good job that you had, success from, a media platform, but now you actually have to have the, ass behind it to keep it going. So I try to be conscious of that.
Yeah. I think one thing that's really cool that I've heard you talk about was when you were filming Talladega Nights, and I think you told me you were going to Central Church of God.
Yeah. I forgot we had the conversation.
And I went to Charlotte Christian, which was right down the street from Central, and we went to another church on the other side of the high school I went to. But I mean, I had to drive past it every day. Like, my mom died 2 years ago, and then we were coming back from downtown and the hospital where the coroner and everything was, and I remember the life insurance people called me, and I pulled into the Central parking lot.
Yeah.
And I remember telling my wife and kids, I was like, this is where I graduated from high school. Like, we didn't go to school there, but that's where we actually went and had our graduation, because we didn't have a big enough auditorium. And then remember back to you telling that story.
Yeah,
recently,
we were.
And how I guess you accepted Christ and were baptized.
Yeah. So we it was early on in filming, because we hadn't. I don't think we had started filming yet. We were there on the bigger shoots that can't afford it. Usually there'll be a week or two of rehearsals before you actually start, and we needed all the rehearsing we could get, because we had never touched it before. And it was one of the mornings where, like, the whole family gets into fight on the way over there, and like, you get there late and Dad's mad and Mom's mad, and we're in the Lincoln Town car and we pull in, and Central was the first place I had been big enough to have like an overflow building if you couldn't fit in the sanctuary. So then it's like, right, well, we got to go watch church on the TV now. We get in there, and sure enough, like, it's the projector, just popping it in from the room next door. And
wasn't it their youth room off to the side?
That's their youth room now.
Yep.
And so I got, went up to the front. A little lady sat in front of me, and I remember her asking me, like, "Can you read?" I was like, "Uh-huh." She's like, "Or you just rather me tell you?" You just tell me what I got to do, because I was 7. And, fast forward 17 years, I went back over there and was trying to kind of figure out, I found the church and was like, okay, I'm pretty sure the overflow building was that building. And it's like, you walk back in there and it's their youth room now, or their kids' church, whatever. And of course they're all looking at me like, well, who are you here to pick up? And I'm like, I'm not here to pick up anybody. I just wanted to look. And I went up and after the service went and found Loran, went and found the pastor, and he had no idea who I was or what I'd done. I was just like, hey, just want to say thank you. 20 years ago, I got saved here, and here's the result of.
Is the pastor still?
Yeah, he's still there.
I have goosebumps asking us his name, Loran Livingston.
Yeah.
His daughter Ada graduated with me for Charlotte Christian. I haven't heard that name in years.
Yeah,
That's
Loran Livingston.
Really,
yeah,
really
he's still the pastor over there. And so whenever I'm in town doing Blue Ridge, which is we film over in Charlotte, I'll go over there. And so it's wild. I mean, when we went, whenever Nunley shot me that little video, how I met him was I had came back to Charlotte doing the first season of Blue Ridge. Mm-hmm. Again, first time I had been back to Charlotte since we filmed Talladega Nights. And I went in the hotel we had stayed in, which was just a weird, I mean, it's like, it's kind of like, I guess, like going back to the house you grew up in. Mm-hmm. If that makes sense. Like
100%.
The people aren't there. And it's different, I mean, I was only there for a couple months, but it changed my life entirely. And I remember I got all ate up, started crying, and a little fella come out the back. It was a little bald-headed black man. And I remember there was a little bald-headed black fella that worked there when I was a kid, because you remember weird stuff. It's probably the first bald-headed black fella I really grew up spending a whole bunch of time around, and come to find out, I think his name's Carter. Mr. Carter was having his 20th anniversary that year, and they had a picture of us tacked up on the wall in the laundry room that had been there, and scotch taped back together. I went back to the house that we filmed the dinner table stuff in.
Dang.
Which doesn't have a table in it, because that ain't the kitchen of the house. I didn't even think about that, when we came in, even, I don't even know if it was the kitchen then. Like the dinner table was in another room. It just looked better to put there when we filmed it. So it's... That was the wild one. It's like my entire life changed as a product of what transpired in this room.
Yeah.
In here. That wasn't even scripted. I'm going to come at you like a spider monkey, all jacked up on Mountain Dew, scissor kick you in the back of the head. None of that was scripted. That was just them like, hey, this kid, Grayson and Houston, are ignorant enough to yell. Yeah. Whatever we tell them to yell. Because they don't know who any of these people are. Right. I knew like Elf had come out. I had never seen Saturday Night Live. My parents tried to show me Anchorman, and then were like, cool, no. I remember that. I remember them like trying to find it on the TV and like trying to fast. And we didn't have fast forward. It was like the bloopers, I think, on the credits or something. Because God, like I could not imagine being my folks.
Did you tell me that they were like that Will and everybody would listen to like you reading the lines so they could learn how to talk redneck? They did,
and again, like we thought. It's just what you did on a film. Right. Like we have no idea. So we're filming Talladega Nights. We get the rehearsals, and I can't remember who it was. It would have been the director or the first AD. Somebody came in, grabbed Houston's parents, and said, hey, we've got this little voice recorder. When y'all get back to the hotel, would you mind recording yourself saying these lines? Because we want to give them to Will and John and Leslie as references for a like authentic Alabama Southern accent. And that's what they did,
That's so good. And I know that and go back and watch it and like think about him rehearsing that. It makes it that much funnier. I haven't been
on a shoot before, before or since that did that. They had built that studio that we filmed a lot of the stuff in. They didn't build it for Talladega Nights, but I think the guy who built it thought that Charlotte was really going to kick off.
Right.
And so I went back there too, and it's like some. They people get their CDL licenses over there or something now, and so I like knocked on the door, it was locked. I was like, hey, I did a movie here when I was a kid. Can I like come and walk around and see? Because it's where we would have shot all the interiors for Jane Lynch's house, the grandma's house. All those were shot on a stage. On that stage, Silverhammer Studios is what it was called. Like the Nana Not My Prison Shank, where we're throwing stuff in the trash can, like that was all just in the backyard right there.
That's awesome.
So it is crazy to go back to spots like that absolutely changed your life.
How much did you actually film up at the Speedway?
At Talladega, we filmed for race week. We filmed during race week. I knew that we filmed during race week when we were doing it because, I mean, there was 100,000, some odd screaming rednecks there, which was awesome because it's like, well, we're an hour from the house. This is great. Didn't realize that like cars on one side of the track, we're on the other side of the track. Like they were filming while it was all going on.
Wow.
And cool. Every now and then, really every 5 or 6 years, I'll run into somebody that worked on Talladega Nights that crewed it. You know, I mean, the hard thing about losing Houston is that outside of Blues in Houston, is that's the only person that would have remembered that from a child's perspective. Right? The only person I can bounce like, hey, do you remember? Yeah. You know, like only person I can bounce that off of. But I'll run into people from time to time that either worked at the race, worked security at the race when we were filming, cool. Or I run into a guy. This was cool at Johnny Cash's farm in Bon Aqua, who had been one of the stunt doubles on Talladega Nights. And you keep up with like the actors and what the directors go on to do.
Right.
But for whatever reason, you don't think to keep up with the stunt doubles. He was the freaking violin player on the deck of the Titanic for Titanic.
Really?
He had been Stallone's double for like 20-something years. But he played the hammerhead shark in Pirates of the Caribbean. Like Dead Man's Chest. Mm-hmm. Hammer. He played it. And I was like, dude, that was my childhood, and had no idea awesome. That I had worked with him. He was one of the stunt doubles and one of the cops that chases Will when they're, when he puts the Lucky Charms up under the car and calls and tells them it's cocaine. So it was a wild, it's been a really, really wild ride that I'm awfully thankful for. And, I'm old enough now. I've got enough life under me to, put that to music and it be, cautionary tales and it be authentic and honest, because that's really what I'm going for. I mean, that's the part that makes it difficult, on my end with the songwriting, is that if I'm telling somebody else's story, I'm doing that on camera. And so keeping those two worlds separate, but not shunning either one of them.
You find that those lines kind of get blurred a little bit and that they cross a little bit naturally?
Yes, and that's okay. It took me a while to realize, like, oh, it's
like don't push it away because it's happening naturally.
Correct,
but
and
not
I didn't
forcing it on the other side.
And I never wanted to push it away. Like it's funny, I'll post 2 or 3 music things in a row and people think I've just up and quit acting.
Right.
So it's like I've got to be sure to filter those back in. But I really look a lot at how Hank Jr. did it, in that he come out fully acknowledging, I'm only here, y'all are only paying any kind of attention to me because of who my dad was. Mm-hmm. I understand that, and we're not going to knock that. But also, here I am, and here's what I do. Right. And we'll keep calling back to it. Right. Like we're not going to, we'll sit and do the conversation with Waylon Jennings, and we'll have those moments to, give credit where credit's due. And so I've looked at it like that from a similar perspective. The nice thing is I'm not in the shadow of anybody else.
Right.
The odd thing is I'm in the shadow of a 7-year-old sometimes, which is a different,
that's wild.
Which is a different thing. I mean, it's a hard truth to some extent when you look at the possibility. The biggest thing, the biggest impact I'll ever have, I did as a child.
That's a wild.
I've never let it mess with me. I mean, it sure could. I don't really believe that to be true.
I think if it was an accomplishment that maybe you weren't proud of, that might.
Oh, it'd be a different thing.
Different. I mean, the fact that you can. I mean, I think people love you because of your film work and you as an actor, and now they're seeing this other side of you that is just a continuation, I think, of the man that they've seen behind the camera.
Well,
and then they're seeing the realness that you offer as well, and I think that is probably refreshing for people, as opposed to some people that might be kind of wary of, hoping you're one way, but then realizing by listening to your music, oh no, he wasn't the guy we thought he was. But I think you've done an amazing job of, putting yourself out there as just, this is my natural evolution, and this is the natural growth and the natural process that I would have gone through in any other walk of life. Just as it happens that I'm, in another aspect of the entertainment business. So it's cool for me to watch, knowing you and being friends with you now. It's cool to watch how you handle yourself in those situations. Let's say with O'Reilly, with Kid Rock, John Daly kind of thing. You seem mature beyond your years, is from my perspective.
Yeah, I don't know. How old are you? I don't even
27.
No way.
Just turned 27 in May.
That's crazy.
May 1st.
Tristan, will you hand me that Diet Coke over there?
Please? So what do you do as far as on like the musical, like on your process, like the writing, production side, like
do
you take things from like your acting process and like getting ready for a role and stuff?
Well, there was never I never developed much of a process because I didn't know there was one. And then by the time I did know that there was one, I had already kind of had my own ways of doing stuff on the film side because I've never taken a class before. On the other hand, I've gotten to watch Bring It In. Oh, that's fine. Drop it on there. Ain't gonna hurt my feelings.
Thank you.
Sorry, I'll re-ask the question so we can just flow back into it.
On the other hand, I got to watch Tom Hanks do it From Here to the Elk for 2 months.
How cool is
That's
that?
incredible.
It was incredible. Or, I mean, I worked 55 days on Talladega Nights. Will worked 56. Got to work under Danny Glover from Lonesome Dove and Lethal Weapon and Predator and Kevin Pollak from Usual Suspects and somebody like Jane Lynch or Joey Roberts and people that I've gotten to see work. That they're in you couldn't take that class.
Yeah.
No matter how much money you
that's
had.
a good way to say it.
No different than going and playing golf with John.
Yeah.
Now I play with my dad's wooden Spalding Executives from 1993. the only reason I have a good time playing golf is because I have no desire to be any good at it whatsoever.
Well, I'm similar to that with golf. I want to get better at it, but I know I'm never going to be awesome, so I just have fun.
Yeah, it was funny. It was me and John and Kane Brown and some fella named Gator, and we were playing over at the Hick.
Oh, Gator Harrison?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I had my, I
I saw him up at
guess.
Foxland the other
Yeah,
day.
okay. And so I had my wooden Spaldings out, and we're doing it. And of course, Kane's really trying to be a good golfer, so John's helping him. And John knows I'm a lost cause, so he doesn't care. And I could finally, I was on the 5th or 6th hole and finally got my feet right. Because I play golf 5 times a year, and it's all this, it's all like the
Like a charity
stuff, so nobody cares anyway, which is
Yeah.
great, yeah. And I reared back, dude. I smoked it. I was like, bam. And it's funny because everybody's like, ting, ting, ting. And I'm like, because I've got a
Yeah.
2x4 I'm out here hitting stuff with. And I smoked it. It was like 220, and it starts to curve, and it curves a little more, and it curves a little more, and it is running right for about 3 70-year-old men, a hole and a half over. They're ducking and hollering. It's like I almost killed one of them. The other one tried to catch it. He about threw his hip out when he landed. And I'm embarrassed because it's like the way I play golf is when I swing and it lands on another hole, I play that ball when I get around to it.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to embarrass myself by going over there and get it. So John's like, let's go get it, son. I'm like, no, I don't want to embarrass John. I certainly don't want to embarrass me. They're probably livid that I didn't call for because we're all standing there going, there's no way that's going to hit him. Like,
Sure enough.
Yeah, sure enough. John pulls up, gets over there, in his golf cart, and he's like, I don't mind red. Hell of a baseball player, right field baseline every time. They looked at me like I was a shortstop for the Yankees. They're like, oh, no problem, sir. No sweat. Glad you're having a good time. Welcome to the club.
Oh, that's awesome.
Be sure to get you a hot dog at the 7-Eleven. It's like, good Lord. But you have those. You get to have those moments, and they're ones that I wouldn't have without the film background, which I'm awfully grateful for now because that's something I never would have saw coming in. On the music songwriting side of things, it's wild how it all transpired. I've had a Southern rock band for the past 8 years. Guys that I went to college with at Lee. Same band. They're all classically trained dudes. Can beat the fire out of me on anything with strings. And we went to cut the first record. I was playing a show out at Cash's Farm where I got the belt.
Mm-hmm.
And the guy came up to me out of the crowd. He said, hey, my name's Scott Glazel. I did 4 albums for the Bee Gees. Nobody else knew that I had a Bee Gees band as a 7-year-old. When you get ready to do your record, I want to do it. It's like, okay, all right, God, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
3 or 4 weeks after that, I was on a retreat in Wyoming, and the guys from Mercy Me were there. Well, I can imagine it was the first song I ever learned to sing, ever sang, and ever recorded with my dad when I was 6. Hey, we just bought Motley Crue's old house, dropped a studio in it in Franklin. It's zoned for commercial, or it's not zoned for commercial. We can't charge you nothing. You want to cut your record? Come cut your record. So here I am with the engineer who mixed 4 records for the Bee Gees, and a free studio that happened to be built on the proceeds of the first song I ever learned to sing, sang, and recorded.
It's insane.
Get ready to cut it. Scott, Bee Gees guy, massive heart attack, passes away. I'm like, crap. At that point, I'd ran my band for 5 years. We can hop in here. Playing it's not a problem. I just can't do that and hit the big red button at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And that was when I was rebuilding my relationship with Hayden. Houston's sister after he passed. Hayden's had just hopped on with Universal, came over, engineered the whole thing. Wow. And so now we're, dropping singles, and I'm going to re-rig my playlisting situation, so we'll re-drop a lot of stuff. That's awesome. Then I just got brought on as the guitar player for Elizabeth Nichols.
I was going to ask you that.
She just had her first #1 on Apple, which is his name is Charlie. Got a handlebar station Harley. And so my next year is kind of wild because we're looking at a concert series with NASCAR for the 20th anniversary of Talladega Nights.
I think you mentioned that.
I mentioned that. Yeah, when we were in here with none of them. Then Elizabeth's got Stagecoach. She's got a pretty full year worth of festivals.
That's great.
You're gonna have a fun year.
I'll have this 3rd season of the TV show that I'm on in Charlotte.
Dang.
And then I've got 1 or 2 other movies that we're bouncing around. And so my schedule thus far has been I'll record all my material that I've got when I've got 3 or 4 days off, kind of in the weeks. Then when I'm on the TV show and I'm stuck there for 3-4 months, I'll release all of it. Nice. Then come off of that and tour it during the weeks, and I'll be doing the stuff with Elizabeth on the weekends. Wow. So next year will be a big year, but it'll be great because I imagine, because I think there's probably already 30-something dates on there now. Wow. Festivals, solely festivals. So
do you play any of your original music?
Not with hers. Not with hers. I'm fully supporting her, which is good. I mean, I love doing that because she's someone that is an incredible songwriter that's finding her footing on the live side outside of church, because we all grew up playing in church. It's a different deal, It's like, okay, now we're opening for Red Clay Strays. No sweat. We've got to figure that out. And I've been thankful that I've been doing that for.
How old is she?
I think she's 25. I believe she's a little younger than me, 24, 25. She could be younger than that. But getting to play behind her and watch her grow.
Getting to play some pretty cool venues.
Play some fantastic. We played Red West opening for Casey Musgraves three weeks ago.
That's cool.
And you're literally staring off the catwalk at snow-capped mountains in Utah. It's like, this is pretty cool. Yeah. Then it's the Strays and Post Malone the next day, and you go and you hang out and do the thing. But I'm really thankful, the confidence she has in me to just support her and do that. So I get to do that, which is awesome. It keeps me sharp on that side, and it's just another learning experience and keeping me sharp on those stages, because it's you learn how to do everything here and a ride around and how to make that make sense, and then your acoustic shows and then your live shows with your own bunch. But I think learning how to be a good Indian is invaluable.
Yeah.
And really getting to do that with Elizabeth is a blessing.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well,
so I just do one when I'm not doing the other.
Yeah.
And tonight, when we get done with this, I'm going to go to the Castello's house and cook 2 strawberry cobblers, because that's what Lily wanted me to do. And
you got like a special recipe or something? Or?
Wonder Bread, funny enough.
Nice.
It's my mom's recipe, or my grandma's. It's Wonder Bread, sugar, flour, eggs, a stick of butter, and light it up in the oven and let it go.
Sounds delicious.
Sounds delicious.
I don't know them at all, but I'm a big fan.
They are
incredibly
talented. I went. They invited me to church with them last night, the little Presbyterian church over in Midtown. And we went, and it's funny because when you have family harmony, like everybody talks about, having family harmony, but when you're next to it and on the freaking pew.
Yeah,
that's a different thing when that kicks in. Live in the wild is a cool thing to just
live in the wild.
Yeah, it's a cool thing to experience.
Me and Steven have always been very fortunate to say, I grew up singing with my dad. My dad was a worship leader at Christ Covenant, and it was a big old church, and I'd never forget those days. Some of the best memories that I have, but specifically singing with my dad and hearing that harmony and hearing that blend. And you're right, you can't fake that, you can't find that. And I feel like the closest thing I've ever found to it is Steven. And my dad and I were playing pickleball one night, and he was singing something under his breath, and I started singing the harmony, so he started singing a little bit louder, and I had goosebumps just thinking back to singing and playing as a kid with my dad. And it's me and him both talked. We were like, hey, we should start picking and singing a little bit together again, just so we don't forget what that feels like and what that sounds like. And again, I think it'd be cool for him too, just having been the one that taught me how to play and sing, and then maybe shoot some videos or something, do that again, because you're right. There's nothing quite like that family bond and that harmony that you get.
I grew up singing. Like I said, I started touring with my folks when I was 5, so I grew up singing with them. I could never quite get like choral harmony down because my dad sang a lot of Crab family music, sang a lot of Jason Crab. If y'all ever listen to Jason coming up, and then I listened to a lot of Bee Gees, and the blends that they all had was so tight, I couldn't tell one part from another. Yeah. So even now, whenever I sing harmony or when I write it for my guys, it's one dude will be singing 3 parts in any given. It's going to be a roller coaster what they do, but it's just what I feel like, blends best with.
Hey, well, we do the same thing. It's like when people listen to our harmonies and vocal treatment, they're like, man, that's different. I wouldn't have thought to do that there. Yeah, because that's a third, that's a fifth, that's a diminished seventh.
Yeah, it's like, well, it's what sounds good. Yeah, like, huh? It's like, I can't stand the ones that it's like you sing the same note 3 or 4 times on the same spot. And it's because I could never do it and it sound good. Right. Like my biggest thing.
Well, you have to know, like, okay, I can sing this note 3 times, but I can't sing it on that note in between, and I can't sing it on that one. So it's like you learn to kind of move around.
My biggest thing coming to town that I grew to get okay with was just gotta stay in your lane.
Yeah.
Like I can't sing George Strait to save my life. I would love to sing George Strait.
Yeah.
Can't do it. My dad has the warmth in his vocal that he can.
Right.
I can't sing Keith Urban very well. I can sing it, but it's not gonna sound good.
Yeah.
And so finding, like just come to terms with the fact there's some stuff that, other people are gonna be better at than I am.
Yeah.
But that's because the good Lord put them there to do that. If I could sing like anybody on this planet, I'd sing like Skinny. But I can't. So, but Skinny can, and that's what Skinny's there to do. Yeah. And so finding, my purpose in what I'm supposed to be doing, what I'm supposed to be saying in the songs that I'm doing, and how I say them, no different than the roles that I play.
Yeah.
And getting content with like, okay, this is what the good Lord's put me here to do, and here's how I'm supposed to be doing it.
Yeah.
And getting content with it, that's been a big part of.
Well, I think it's just the beautiful thing about that is you being able to lean into what it is that you're doing and knowing what you're good at and really just diving into that. And I think there's so many people that don't focus on what it is that they're good at because they want to be something else or they want to be able to sing like Keith or Brad Paisley or so-and-so. And like, well, there's only one of those. Like, well, and be authentically yourself. And like, that's what people are going to love. And like, for me, it's like kind of get out of your head and just embrace. I've listened to a lot of artists. They're like, man, I hate the sound of my voice. I'm like, man, that's a rough place to be as an artist. But, eventually it's like they lean into it and they dig in and figure out how to make that work. But
that's the thing I'm thankful for with getting to play for Elizabeth is because there's absolute better guitar players she could have up there. I'm very thankful that they've asked, me to come in and do it. But it forces me to be a better guitar player.
Yeah. Are you singing harmonies too or no?
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Yeah, which is fun. Like, I like doing that.
I love singing harmonies. Yeah.
I would I like doing my own stuff, but I remember we were playing a show over in Cleveland when I was after I just graduated from Lee. We were playing over there, and I got a girl to come up, hop in with us, and do I Hope You Dance because I had been dying to sing those backgrounds, the BGVs on I Hope You Dance my entire life because my folks, like I said, would cut on the Gaither Homecoming videos. Right. It was Lord of the Rings, Gaither Homecoming videos, and CMT.
Wow.
So I remember a lot of the music videos that come along with them. Late 90s, early 2000s. So like Hope You Dance and like the white dress and the purple background and picking wildflowers in the bar in there and How Far Is Heaven, Lost Lonely Boys with like the really orange color palette that they picked for it. Different things. You remember weird stuff when you were a kid. And I'd been dying to love so long to do the BGVs on Hope You Dance. So half the time when I bring people up, it's solely so I can sing BGVs on that particular song.
That is one of the best like counter melodies that I've ever heard in a song. It's so good. I naturally always gravitate towards that part just because it's such it's cool. Yeah. Like, it's big, it's warm, it just like it makes the song. Yeah. It's really cool. What's your on the acting side, like if you could have one like co-star that you haven't worked with yet that is kind of a bucket list thing for you. And then also on the music side, like a touring mate or direct support for somebody, who are your tops that you haven't worked with yet? I mean, Tom Hanks is pretty hard to beat.
Tom Hanks is hard to beat, but again, that wasn't one I was going for. I mean, that was something that technically I've been one to never take rehearsals very seriously on the film side as far as what I'm saying and how I'm saying it, because in my mind, the night before, I'm looking over it. I've got in my head how I think the set's going to be. When I get to a rehearsal, I'm more figuring out about how to make the physical space work. Like, okay, I thought I was going to be across from him, but now I'm actually sitting over here. So, like, how do I'm more concerned about the physical world I'm in rather than how I'm saying it. And then I figured out how I was going to say it, this whole time.
Right.
It's just different. But when you're, working across from somebody like Hanks and he locks eyes with you and he's cussing, or he wasn't cussing at me, but he's yelling at you because he's the captain and I'm his signalman second class. And you look out, that kind of intensity is different because I was not expecting to lock eyes with Forrest Gump for 2 months.
Yeah, there you go, bro.
And thankfully, the, awestruck piece that you have with that wouldn't kick in until after. I turn around to go and do whatever he just told me to do. Like, that was Forrest Gump.
Yeah.
My first real conversation with him, we were talking about, he wanted to work a thing called French hours, which is we work 10-hour days, but with no lunch break. It's a run-in lunch. You grab it, kind of grab and go as you're doing it. And he was asking me something, about something, and I told him, I'd worked with Michael Clark Duncan from Green Mile that he had worked with, and he realized that I was in Talladega Nights, and he was like, "Oh man, I watched that last week. Hey, do y'all know the kid from Talladega Nights is on this movie?" It's stuff like that. That's like, I would never have expected.
Yeah.
The one I've always wanted to work with is Robert Duvall, and of course he's 95.
Yeah.
Robert Duvall, Mel Brooks, I'd give appendages to work with either one of them.
Yeah.
Of course, because I grew up middle of nowhere watching Blazing Saddles and
Mm-hmm.
History of the World Part 1 and Robin Hood Men in Tights and that whole deal. Robert Duvall or Mel Brooks. On the music side, anybody would kill to do anything with George Strait. That's what I grew up doing and listening to. I really, really love what Red Clay Straits are doing.
Yeah, same here.
Really love what they're doing, and the way that we do our show is very contextually is very similar.
Really, how so?
Just in how we present it, because it's very much like we're going to do our Southern rock thing. Country is the genre that it fits into because country is so wide right now.
It is.
Yeah. Because I was really thankful when Chris Stapleton hit it in like 2015 because I was like, okay, cool. He just did it in country, so now there's a space for how my voice sounds. Yeah. Because at that point there wasn't a spot for rock, and there's still. You got like Youngblood that's doing stuff now, but there's not. It isn't 1989.
Right.
So sonically, it would be a very similar feel, and then we do all our gospel stuff kind of in the middle of it as well. That's so it's the same thing. I've got a song which I hadn't put out yet. It's called "Turned Out Good," which I talked about it on Nun's thing about my granddad getting healed because he was paralyzed as a kid, and my dad being abused as a child, and how they both kind of Jesus worked on them, and they turned out good. And for me, I couldn't play ball growing up because I couldn't get hurt, because there was no sense in me breaking a collarbone in spring training and not being able to do Wimpy Kid in August,
right,
or September in a town with 9 stoplights where nobody gives a crap unless you're playing third base or you're the tight end or whatever. So my dad never got to see me hit a home run, never got to see me score a touchdown. He had the most rushing yards in the state for a private school in 1988. Like, my dad was an incredible athlete. But I get to watch him cry behind his Ray-Bans when I'm singing a song that redeems his childhood in front of 30,000, 40,000 people, and we're opening for Casting Crowns. And I'm able to say, by the end of that song, whether you were paralyzed as a child or you lost your mom or you were abused up one side and down the other by the only people who are ever supposed to love you, it doesn't affect me. It doesn't have to affect you or the people that come after you. The only common denominator, my granddad being alive, my dad keeping his marriage and not being in prison, is Jesus Christ. You do with that what you will, but here's your evidence. And I'm able to bring up the man that I grew up singing with that can sing circles around me, and we'll do I Can Only Imagine, or we'll do Can't Even Walk by Charles Johnson and the Revivers. And then we'll go back to doing Freebird or whatever it was we were doing before. But when we get done, and I'm doing the meet and greets or whatever, there'll be as long of a line, if not a bigger one, of burly, hairy, 40-something-year-old men bawling their eyes out, coming to meet my dad going, how in the world do you still have your marriage?
Wow.
And your kid turn out halfway decent. Then there will ever be Talladega Nights or Wimpy Kid fans. Yeah. So being able to do something like that carries some weight that's genuine. Was not something that I expected when I started writing music. I didn't want to write music. I never had the desire to. I remember being in college riding down the road going, why in the world, like, what do I have to say that will be any more entertaining than playing Freebird? I don't know if I've ever written anything or said anything that's more entertaining than cutting on Freebird. Still feel that way. But it wasn't until that I wrote that song. And I was like, okay, I probably need to kind of hang here and keep doing it. Even though I had, I want to do music. I've done music my whole life.
What's it called? The song?
It's called Turned Out Good.
Turned Out Good.
So it's not out yet, but we've got a couple different versions we're doing. I just cut a version of Loved 'Em Everyone, T.G. Shepherd song that I'm pumped about.
I can't wait to hear that.
So, and I talked to T.G. about doing that. So we'll see what happens. Cool. What happens there, and then the last single, the Opry dropped on WSM, which was awesome.
Wow. That's cool.
So it's for anybody who's ever cheated on you and then cried about it, it's called Go Cry Somewhere Else.
Oh yeah, I heard you play it. I like that song.
Yeah. It's and then we usually come out of that second chorus and play the national anthem, which is like, it's kind of a good old Effie. Go cry somewhere else. Leave me alone. That's
amazing.
But we have a good time, and I mean, with my own music, I've produced all of it. It was like I know how I want it to sound, and I'm the one that's got to be stuck listening to it and sing it the rest of my life.
That is so true.
And not that I'm the most have the most technical prowess yet. I'm working on it in there, but I trust my ears.
Yeah.
I'm learning the value, or not maybe the value, but how different speakers are.
Amen.
Dude. I knew that, but like, nobody cares about how my Ultima speakers sound. But anyway, I digress.
I was telling somebody just last night, they're listening to something in my studio. They're like, this sounds pretty good. Those are pretty like flat, like sounding monitors, aren't they? I was like, yeah, by design. I want them to sound as shitty as possible in here, because if I can get it sounding good on this, it's going to sound really good in my truck speakers downstairs really or on AirPods.
And that's what I'll do. I'll mix it to the studio, and then I'll go mix it to my Ultima, which sounds stupid bright. It's the brightest sounding vehicle I've ever sat in. Really? Like, it hurts whenever I've got it zeroed out.
Right.
And then I'll run it in my really crappy, like $20 Bluetooth speakers, my computer speaker, and then my AirPod Maxes, the big ones, which you can hear a mouse pissing on cotton in the AirPod Maxes. So that's
but
nice.
The AirPod Maxes add a little bit of color in the low end. So it's like if you got a real punchy bass, it almost makes it feel like it's too thick. But then you go play it on trucks or your Apple speakers, and it's like, gosh, where's the low end?
They've got the low end to them, but they don't. To me, they don't process high ends near as well.
No.
So whenever I'm in Charlotte approving Atmos mixes from Franklin, I'm like, dude, I can't hear the organ at all. And he's like, well, I got it cranked up. And it's like, okay, it's because I wasn't listening. There's like a bounce process to go through to listen to them accurately in them versus like just having the straight flat wave file. Anyway, sorry, y'all.
Yeah, even that people that want an Atmos mix, I'm like, okay, well, I can kind of do that in my studio. I'm missing the one speaker all the way behind me. Like,
it's a different animal. But that's that's the process I've learned that works for me on the back end. But the thing is, I've been blessed to be surrounded by some the guys that I went to college with are incredible players.
That's great.
And none of them listen to country music at all.
Really?
So my rhythm guitar player is a metalhead. My bass player is a missionary kid, classical romanticist from Papua New Guinea.
Really?
Whoa. My drummer plays a little bit of country, but grew up doing gospel. The keys player is gospel guy through and through. So to have, all that converge, it keeps it. We sound like us.
Yeah.
We don't sound like like anything else.
Yeah, that's great.
If you crossed, Skinnerd and U2, that's probably where we land at consistently on most of our tracks. But I wasn't, realizing how valuable that was, because it was like, hey man, I want it to sound like such and such. And I'm like, what?
Yeah.
I've never heard. What's the ride? It's like David Allan Coe. It's like you're gonna have to play it. So
that's cool.
It's cool how it's all worked out, and my life has never gone the way I thought it would. you know, from the freaking gate. We're like, okay, you know, and I couldn't imagine being my parents in the, you know, position that I put them in as a kid actor, not even meaning to. I have no idea what I would do with that at all, because they didn't know Talladega Nights was going to be a real movie. The only reason we went to the open call was because I'd never been to Six Flags, and they wanted to take me on a family vacation on the way back.
Wow.
Now, that was it when we did the callback for Talladega Nights. So life's never turned out the way that I thought it would. So I have no idea where this thing's going to end up.
Yeah.
But I know that there's been enough of these moments confirming that this is what I need to be doing.
Yeah. Amen.
Which is a blessing.
Yeah.
Because otherwise I'd be laying hardwood floors and working horses right now, because that's horses are a whole lot easier to deal with.
Yeah. Ain't that the truth?
I know what they mean, and I know when they're mad at me.
Yeah.
But I've been very blessed here to be surrounded by a lot of really good people.
That's awesome.
That I want to see succeed, and that want me to succeed, and that have withheld no good thing from me.
Yeah.
Skinny particularly. And I'm thankful for that. And I'm thankful that I get to be here, and I live on West End. I'm 8 minutes from Losers, which is way better than being 2 minutes from Losers.
That is the truth.
But not as bad as being 15 minutes from Losers.
Yeah.
And just the community such, like, it gets overused, but the really the family that I've gotten to build here.
Yeah.
Certainly as an only child. And like I said, I was raised by my granddad's older sisters, most people that aren't here anymore. So when I go home, that's hard, because home ain't there.
Yeah.
You know, my parents are there, my grandmother's there, my cousins are there, but all the people I grew up with went, you know, they're doing their thing.
Yeah.
So to be able to, you know, it's the first time I feel halfway understood by anybody.
Wow. That's
which is, and y'all know
incredible,
how
yeah.
y'all know how that goes, as good as anybody. And I love it here, and
That's awesome.
I'm ready to.
I do too.
Yeah, someone
Ready
asked me
to-
the other
ready to
day if
see
I
where
wanted
it
to leave. I was like, never.
Yeah, well, it's funny because I'll get to a point where I'll feel like I know the next thing is coming. I don't know what it is, and I call it the carrot, because I feel like there's one just dangling right here, and I can't get it. But I don't ever know what the carrot is.
Right.
And then it'll be about a month, and then Elizabeth will be like, "Hey, will you come on the road with me?" And it's like, okay, cool. Well, that's drastically altered what I thought my 2026 was going to be. So, okay, you know, like, all right, I got that carrot now, so I don't, you know, the next one I don't feel the next one dangling yet, but it'll.
But you know it's coming.
But I know it's coming, and that's the thing. Here's your one you can clip in here. It's worth something. Not that the rest of it isn't worth something. But the good Lord has always been very good about baby stepping me into things. I think the reason why child actors fail as they get older is because they're thrown into something at such a high level, at such a consistent frequency, that you don't know any better, and you don't know any different. So when, you know, there's 13 million or 20 million or 30 million riding on you getting it right, and it's your birthday, or I'm not going to tell that story because that's going to incriminate some people. When we did Talladega Nights, I didn't want to eat one of the lunches that they had that day. I was like, man, I'd really like a Happy Meal. And Dad's like, no, you're going to eat whatever it is. And, you know, I wasn't loud about it, but a PA heard me, and in 20 minutes, every variation of the McDonald's Happy Meal menu arrived. Why? Because there's a $60 million movie partially riding on me acting right.
Right.
When you have that at a consistent level, and you don't know any different, and you get a DUI at 16 because everybody's worshiped the ground that you've walked on up to this point, and then you lose it. You lose every bit of it. Well, no wonder.
Yeah.
It's not because somebody actively tried to spoil you.
Right.
But it's when you got 30 million riding on you getting it right, and we've got, 15 minutes before we're into triple overtime here. Whatever you need to get in there. And it don't matter what it is, it don't matter who you are. If you're 12 years old and you want a freaking kilo of cocaine, there's going to be a kilo of cocaine that's going to be there in a half hour, because we got to get this done. Right. So I was able to do Talladega Nights, and then it was 2 years and nothing. And then Rainbow Tribe, which was a independent movie in the middle of nowhere, 2 years and nothing. Then Wimpy Kid, Wham Bam Bam. Space Wars with Danny Glover. Season Miracles with John John Schneider, Bo Duke.
Wow.
I did the second Marley and Me. 5 movies, 6 movies, wham, bam, 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 bam. 3 years, my entire high school, really. 4 years, nothing. Mother's Day, and then another 2 years of nothing. Then, okay, we got a Greyhound. We got a Oscar nomination, and then nothing. So I was able to kind of figure out how to acclimate at each of those points. Rather than we're doing it and then it's just taken away from me, and then I'm having to, figure out what is life like now. You look at guys that do get a DUI when they're 16, 17, and they're on Disney or they're on Nickelodeon or whatever. It's like, oh, cool, you're not working again.
Right.
I was forced to come to terms after those 2-3 year stints of not working on the film side that, like, okay, God, I know you put me here, but you know what? If I never do it again, I got to hit a level with Talladega Nights and Wimpy Kid and with Greyhound getting the Oscar nod that nobody ever gets. If they do, they get it once. And when they do, they're Morgan Freeman's age, doing Driving Miss Daisy, and they're 60, and their grandparents aren't allowed to see them do it. All the people that have supported the starving artists up to this point don't get to see them do it. So if I get smoked by the pedal trolley, don't wait for me. I've the ones who've put in the effort to see me succeed and have sacrificed to see me make it have gotten to see that.
That's cool.
With the music, it's been very similar because it's been, okay, we got 2 churches to sing at this weekend, and I'm 6, 7 years old, and then I'm 7. I'm going, okay, I got my Bee Gees band, and y'all are coming over next week because we're rehearsing on the karaoke machine with the little purple letters on the VHS. And then, okay, I'm leading worship in the 7th grade, and I'm playing 2 or 3 services. Well, I'm playing 2 services a week for 7 years, and then I'm coming on at another church, and we're playing 1, 2, 3, 4 services a week for 3 years, and we're having a rehearsal in there, and then I've got my own band, and okay, we're playing 15, 20 shows a year or something like that, and they're all frat parties. And okay, well, now we're opening for Casting Crowns, so how do we do that?
Right.
Okay, we're figuring this, how do we do this? And now I'm doing stuff for Penrod, so now I'm on my first bus, and we're doing it. And this is what a tour looks like. It's like, okay, and now we're here with Elizabeth, and we've got Stagecoach coming up. So the good Lord has always been very good about, I think, with this, because if I had gone from 0 to nothing on this side of the industry at 27, I would totally screw the pooch.
Yeah.
And that's the nicest way I know how to say it.
Yeah.
Because I wouldn't know what I was doing. I wouldn't be able to appreciate it. And it's no different than, I won't tell that story. But, I would mess it up. Yeah. I'd mess it up if it was good. I wouldn't be prepared for it. And so I think the good Lord's been very gracious and positioned me to where whatever I end up hitting, I tend to be almost prepared for it. Yeah. Not all the time, knock on wood. I mean, I'm going to have something happen tomorrow solely because I said that. It's like he's going to be in the news because he run over 3 people. But even though I've not liked it because it felt like that carrot dangling in front of me, I've been able to ease myself into it. At a higher level each time.
Oh, that makes perfect sense to me, especially like even looking at our own career. Like, the phrase like God will never give you more than you can handle. I think we always look at that on like the negative side. All right, he's never going to pile up all these trials and tribulations knowing that I can't handle it. But I think it's also on the positive sides of things. I don't think
I've never thought about it.
God will give you a certain amount of success knowing you may squander it or not be a good steward of it. Yeah. And maybe you weren't ready at that point in your career for it. So that's maybe why it takes all these little incremental, things. But then, on the flip side of the coin, it's like some of the most successful people that I know are the people that kind of have adopted that mentality of like not looking at the end goal, but just looking at the incremental progress that it's going to take them to achieve a goal like that. Yeah. And it seems like they always are capable of achieving way more than they even ever achieved, just because they took their eyes off of the prize all the way at the end of, or the light at the end of the tunnel, and they just focused on the grind and being in it and not being jaded or pissed off that they're not necessarily where they want to be at a certain time. And it seems like the people that are just thankful for what it is that they got at the time, they seem to just it's the snowball effect, and they keep growing, and cool, good things happen. I believe good things happen to good people, and I believe you reap what you sow. And And just in our case, I think also, like, maybe I wasn't ready for a certain level of success.
Yeah.
And maybe I didn't handle it the way that I know that I should have. And God knew that maybe that was what was going to be what took me out. And I wasn't going to be able to get sober if I stayed on that path.
Yeah.
And who knows, really. But at the same time, I just like to think that everything that's happened, every step that I've taken, that you've taken, is designed by an incredible God that is omniscient, all powerful. Just it's a beautiful thing. And I think even hearing your story, it feels like every step you've taken has been scripted in the best way possible by the good Lord and by the creator of everything. And the fact that you can see that and you haven't lost sight of that and you welcome it and you're grateful for it, just it shows me that you're in the right spot. And
I hope so.
At least from my perspective.
Yeah,
again,
well, I hope so, and I think that I am, and it's that trying to be, content where you are, because
Yeah.
I know, I feel like I know where it's going, and I want it to be there last year.
Yeah.
Like that's the part that burns me up, because it's like I know it's coming.
hard to be patient.
I know it's coming. I don't know how it's
so
coming, but I
hard.
know that it is, and that's the faith side of it too. But it's different for me, and I have been dealt such a good hand on the faith side of things, in that, like, my granddad was paralyzed. He ain't paralyzed no more.
Yeah.
Like, not a lot of people get to
Witness a miracle in
witness
that way.
witness that and go, oh, okay.
There's
So
a
there
God.
is something to this.
Yeah.
All right. So you have that, and then we have, okay, well, we're just dropping cult classic into your lap. Boom.
Mm-hmm.
Have fun. I was at the local the other night, and Jake Worthington was there and walked up behind me and grabbed me, and he goes, "You're a piece of cultural architecture."
Wow. That's crazy.
That's a heck of a thing to say to somebody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Piece of cultural
architecture. And I don't know, think about it. It's like, well, with Talladega Nights certainly is a piece of
Yeah.
when I get to be a part of that.
Yeah.
But
even your approach to that, having somebody like that say that to you, and the humility that in this moment you're exuding, I mean, it's pretty wild to me. I mean,
yes, sir.
Because most people in that moment, it's like, yeah, inflate my ego a little bit more. And then for you to be able to look at it from that perspective of, yeah, I was a part of this cultural piece of architecture. It's impressive to me that you can look at it that way. And I'm obviously, knowing your background in psychology and counseling, that makes a lot of sense to me.
What's funny is really, that honestly come more from the fact that I couldn't play ball growing up. So I'd go off and do this really big thing and come home and nobody cared. None of the guys like the parents did. Like, my buddies' folks thought it was cool.
Right.
But like I get home and it's like I can't pitch like my cousin.
Daddy ain't on the baseball field with me.
Yeah. And so it's like, and it was very humbling.
Yeah.
And I didn't like that, but also I didn't really know any different because, I grew up in Alabama. But then I spend most of my career on the West Coast or in different spots that look down their nose at how I was raised, and they look down their nose at where I'm at. So it was very much just kind of in the middle of all of it. It would be cool to my buddies when we would be somewhere else, and then that was cool to everybody that I was there.
Right.
Or then it was like, okay, this is a big thing. But it's no different than and I'm not comparing myself to this by any means, but there's the verse that's like, a prophet's not respected in his hometown.
Yep.
Like, it's just the same. Not a prophet, but it's the same kind of kind of concept. I'm sure y'all
100%.
experience that when you're home too. It's a different animal. But that certainly helped me not be a butthole.
Yeah.
Because if I had done all those things and came back home and then that was elevated.
Yeah.
I don't feel like it's real hard to get to the top of the pile in the town without stoplights.
Yeah.
But it is when you come to Nashville and you come that with that kind of swagger to it. It's a different deal. So it has saved me a lot of grief, even though middle school sucked. But middle school sucks for everybody. So who cares?
It does.
But
I mean, I look at all of that as God preparing you for where you're at now, and that carrot you keep talking about, like. Maybe there's not a carrot that's going to be dangled next.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just that full-on realization of I'm in the right place, the right time. This is my calling. I'm doing exactly what I was put here to do.
And that's the nice thing. It's like, okay, I don't know what the carrot is after Stagecoach.
Yeah.
But I'm probably going to be real happy with whatever that one is. I just, but I've got to stay sharp. and I've gotta keep doing it because the drive on my end of the spectrum as far as music is concerned is the whole reason I moved to Nashville was I didn't want to step over the heads of everybody if I had something hit it on TikTok. Even though I've prepped my whole life to, there's plenty of people that prep their whole life to do it and then hit it on a media platform. Right. It's not all of them are just overnight deals. Yeah. But I didn't want to step over the heads of everybody and then them assume that the movie star kid just decided to do music all of a sudden. And so I wanted to come here and I wanted to play Skydeck, and I wanted to do Whiskey Jam, and I wanted to do specifically a Raised Rowdy right around at Live Oak. To get to play the Bluebird and to have those, under my belt that I earned my way up through. Yeah. So that whenever I went on to keep pursuing it, I didn't make anybody too many people mad along the way, because it's something that I really have sought. Yeah. Sought to do. I've never had the desire to move to LA and go and, not that I don't want to continue pursuing acting, because I absolutely do. I actually, over the last couple months, have in my heart wanted to pursue it more, but not one over the other. It's just different. There's not, I lovingly say there's not as many asses to have my head up on the film side of the world as there is on the music end, because with music there's a foreseeable path. Yeah. You play these venues, you beat the bushes here, and you beat the bushes at Losers, and then you land your booking agent, and then and there's a path. With film, somebody's going to call at some point in time and say they would love me to do something in 2 years, and that may or may not happen 2 years from now, or we're doing something next week that gets pushed to 2 years, or it doesn't happen at all. So there wasn't as much for me to focus on the work side of the film world. I'm discovering things as I get older as how to really hone that and make that make more sense. But with music, I get to be me. Yeah. And I don't have to worry about how Dwayne Dixon thinks about something or how Fregley would react to something. The older I get on the film side, the more I realize that I can react to it on screen the way I would normally react to it. I just have to do it from a different angle.
Huh. Interesting.
I sat down with Billy Bob Thornton one day, who was like Sling Blade is my favorite standalone film of all time. And he knew that, but I wasn't going to be like, I wasn't trying to, I had a couple of questions that I had prepared to ask him. He was a big Wimpy Kid fan, wasn't expecting that at all. And we're just talking, and he sat me down, and he was like, and he said this the other day. I think I saw him talking about it yesterday. He had just done Landman. It hadn't come out yet. Some of the trailers had been coming out. But he said, if you want somebody to play Charles de Gaulle, get you a Frenchman. Don't get me. You want somebody to play an oil man, I can do that. Yeah. Grayson, we were playing a drug dealer. You got to find who you are as a drug dealer, who you are as a politician, who you are as a Marine, not entirely what the role calls. Right. You want to hit what the role calls for, but the more authentic you can make it, the better. And that, you look at Billy Bob Thornton, you go, okay, I can see that there is probably a piece of him in each of these specific places, whether it is Sling Blade or whether it's Landman. Right. So the older I've gotten, the more it's no different than songwriting. I've never thought about it this way. You just got to live. You just got to get the life under you to understand a concept, and then you make something about that concept. Wow. So the older I get and the more life I get under my belt, good, bad, and different, the more authentically I can communicate how that experience affected me. And I can put that into a song and it be Grayson, or I can look at that, I can look at a similar situation in a script that I'm reading and go, okay, here's how I dealt with that, and how do I make it make sense in the light of a farmer? How does that translate there? Is it more calculated in this area? Because I'm not an electrician, but he is. Right. So I'm not going to be a dumbass. It's not like I'm just out here with my garden hoe and my tractor. Yeah. Like that man's a genius in his own right. He'll do things. I'm not a diesel mechanic. Yep. I can't go work on friggin' whatever the Cummins is in the parking lot out there. Yeah. But this man can. Yep. So how does do I look at I treat that proficiency with the same way that I treat the confidence that I have when I'm right here opening for y'all.
Yeah.
Don't know everything, but I know the things that I do know, and I know them well, and here's how we're gonna attack it. So I'm learning that as in like the past couple months. Nobody taught me that. It's just figuring it out.
And like you said, you have to live life.
You kind of
that shit has to happen for you to figure it out, right?
For me to figure it out and for it to be authentic.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm learning. Now I'll get album number 2 out, a crap I've written, and then somebody else can live through hell and make bad decisions, and they can go and do that so that I won't have to, because I would very much like to have a wife and kids and it be a healthy, functioning family.
And that's a cool record that you could write from where you're at in that point in your life, and then hopefully you have a wife and a family and kids, and then your next project,
or
2 projects.
Everybody else, y'all all write something, and I'll know what I can tell then. The first one's Living in Women Volume 1, and then the second's Living in Women Volume 2, and then we're done. That's been our prayer request, like before we go on stage with me and my guys, and it's like, all right, what's going on? And Nick will just be like, living in women. We're like, all right, that covers it. Cool. So anyway, what was a prayer request ended up becoming the title of this first record. So
that's pretty cool.
Anyway,
that's awesome.
Well, man, we appreciate you sitting down with us.
Thank y'all for having me.
Yeah, awesome conversation.
It's a lot. We talked about Nissan Altima brightness, speakers, John Daly wooden golf clubs, Lorraine Livingston, Tom Hanks. We covered a little bit.
Yeah, we covered a lot.
The Castello's cobbler that will be,
yeah, I'm jealous of that.
Going in the oven in about an hour and a half.
Night for some strawberry cobbler.
Strawberry cobbler, yeah. I hadn't got the peach one down as well, because all the juice that's in the peach, that's in the canned peaches, kind of messes me up. It don't taste bad. It's just it's different. Anyway,
it's a little different. I'm a big peach cobbler guy.
Yeah,
had some good blueberry cobbler the other day. Yeah. Anytime we'll go to a casino that has a buffet and we're playing there, they always have cobbler, and it's always good.
I made $200 on a blackjack table at Casino Arizona in Phoenix this weekend. Really? I was so proud of myself. Nice. But anyway, thank y'all.
Hey, thank you, brother. Really appreciate it.
Y'all go awesome. Listen to my stuff. It's Grayson Russell, Grayson C. Russell, however you want to look it up. Just find the dude with a bunch of hair. Go watch a couple of the movies if you like it. It'll be me. Thank y'all for having me.
Man. Grayson Russell, y'all.
Love
appreciate
and
you, man.
theft. Y'all come on.